No problem. I appreciate it. I love those albums, and yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate to be a part of that band and a part of that time. It was pretty magical.
Well, I'm just gonna get right to it then. I'm already recording. Um, okay, so you say that you were very fortunate to be a part of that. That's one thing as a frontman. I never got. To me, there was never any sense from you of ego, like that when you were on stage that you knew how, like, hey, I'm important. I'm singing in this band. It really felt more truthfully like you would come up on stage from the crowd and you were doing this and you were like representing all of us, and I want to know, was that intentional? Did you ever think about stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it was I think it was a combination of a couple factors. I think first and foremost, my approach is to hardcore and a lot of music has never been one of I mean, I'm still in a band currently right now, which is called Sidecar Line. We're going to have some stuff up on Bandcamp real soon. But I still do this because it fundamentally resonates with me, that I'm making, not like in an egotistical sense, but I'm making art. But everyone, especially in a live sense, everyone is a part of it. But yeah, when I'm in a band, I really submerge my ego. That was something that I realized, from other people that have been in bands, but I think in a hardcore sense, they asked those guys asked me to be in the band, and I was elated. But I always looked at it like never would I try to be more than one fifth, and then I also approached it in a sense that yeah, I've never done music. You can when they say the big three, right? The sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I just want the rock and roll. I loved writing music. I love the fact that we were somehow able to catch lightning in a bottle, a very intense lightning, albeit. But yeah, we were onto something, and I think the other thing that was, I think that reason why things resonated and shined through was we were sincere and we weren't. I think we were letting people see our imperfections and our, um, maybe our, angst or whatever we were going through. We let it out. We realized that that we needed to be true to ourselves and we needed to lyrically be true as well.
Now,
But I
okay,
think
no,
those
no,
things
please,
resonate
no, no, no,
too.
no, no, please continue.
No, I was just gonna say I think those are the things that really shined through for like Unbroken, and things that I hopefully portrayed as the singer and or frontman. Personally, in my humble opinion, Rob's the frontman because he's got that. But I was the guy that was. I wanted to be the guy that was the. I was, if anything, I was definitely the cheerleader, and I was the everyday guy. I was the everyman kind of frontman.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you were so approachable. Like, I'll be honest, Dave. I don't even remember how you and I met. It may have been like Hartsfield driving you guys back to Orange County for something. I don't even remember. It literally seems like we've always been friends. I remember on like the Ritual album, you guys thanked Ice, and I was like, oh my god, like they cared enough to like thank my minuscule like little band. Like it just it's always felt that way. Which brings me to another question. Do you think that like if I back in 1992 or maybe 91, but I think it was 92 when you and I met, if I would have told you, hey
Mm-hmm.
Dave, dude, 30 years later, you and I are going to be doing this thing called Zoom, and we're going to be talking about Unbroken and everything that you're doing now, what would you have said to me? Like, would you have even believed that we would still be doing this?
Yeah, I guess in a weird way because the thing with hardcore and punk and metal, a lot of these genres of music is the sincerity is there. I think so. The fact that we are doing this in a musical sense isn't a surprise. Maybe in a like technological sense, yeah, I think that might be trying to explain half the things that we can do with a Black Mirror in our pocket is yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, it's interesting. I do have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Please.
Now that you're big ballin' author, can you afford some better earplugs?
Okay, let me tell you something. Now, okay, here's the deal. I don't know if anyone knows this. Okay, I lost my hearing at a 411 show. Okay, like literally, Dave, I'm not smart. I was literally up against a speaker. And so the show's going, people are talking to me, I keep leaning in. It was Spanky's. So I figured, oh, no big deal. Like, it's just loud in here. The next morning I get up and the phone rang and I was like, hello? Hello? Like no one was saying anything. And then I switched ears and the person on the other line goes, why do you keep saying hello? So I was always afraid I was going to lose it. And well, here's another thing. Then it came back. I was like, oh my gosh, my hearing's come back. This is great. I went to another 411 show. And then, I mean, yeah, no, exactly.
What does Dan Mahoney have against your hearing?
I'm telling you, he has a lot against me. No, I'm kidding. But the thing is that I was always afraid back in those days that I was going to lose it again. But I don't know if you noticed, I only plugged it into, I only plugged the disgusting toilet paper into one ear and never thought for a second, oh man, this looks really stupid. A big strand is hanging out of my ears. So I thank you for bringing that up because I'd kind of forgotten about that. So thank you. I am honored. You really, whenever Unbroken played, and I mean, there were like, I saw you guys countless times, whether it was at Cheap Guys in Riverside, whether it was at the showcase, whether it was, there was a place that you guys played and you were opening for a really big band. And I remember sitting with Hartsfield, and I forget where it was. Quicksand played there with Seaweed. I'm forgetting the name of the place, but why I bring this up is like Hartsfield and I were like, dude, this is going to be amazing. And it was. Like it wasn't even your guys' crowd, and you guys were like stoked that you were getting the opportunity to like play with this band, with this crowd. But like the band itself, you guys, and so I say this asking you about this, to take it back to boxing. There's a saying that, you have tough fights and tough fights and tough fights. You go to the well and go to the well each time. Eventually the well gets dry. I never felt that way with you guys. Like, how did you do that? How did you give 300% every time? I mean, I'm sure that there were some nights where maybe, but my point is, like how were you able to bring that up from yourself for every show?
Yeah, I was gonna say it really. A lot of the Unbroken shows, we did play a lot of shows after the Ritual album.
Oh yeah,
actually one of my favorite Unbroken stories of all time. We were just playing a lot of shows, and at one particular time, and I remember we had played somewhere in like El Cajon. I think maybe it was Sprung Monkey's studio or something like that. But they would do these impromptu shows, and we're like, what the hell? We'd play anything at that point in time. And so we showed up and played, and somebody, I guess they didn't like us. They turned off the lights or something. But we played the 5 remaining songs in our set in the dark, like totally nailed it. And I kind of remember at that time thinking like, this is cool. I've never been in a band where I felt like we were at that point where we were that tight that we could be that to do something like that. But yeah, I think every show was a big deal to us. I think it was just, and I think once we went on tour, when we did the European tour and we had to play for almost 2.5, or it was like 2 months. It was really long. That was tough. That's when it becomes I think we were kind of fortunate that Unbroken didn't get burnt out on touring a lot, that we were able to keep it so, as you say, you know, it was pertinent to us. It was, we did give it all, though. I will say that. There was times people, you know, yeah, yeah. There's Eric passed out at a show. I think I got knocked out at a show. I've rolled the last European tour. I rolled my ankle and still like taped up my. Had to play Berlin the next night and was still jumping around on one leg and stuff. And it's pretty crazy.
Well, that's the thing, you know. Back then, you're young. You really, I like. Honestly, was there ever even a thought in your mind like, "Oh, I'm not going to play the show"? Like, you probably never thought about that.
Yeah, it was really weird when we did our first European tour of Battery. We all got sick at one point in time, and and Unbroken has actually had time, like on the first American tour, we had times where like people had dropped off on the tour, and at one point in time there was an Unbroken show, I think, with Steve on vocals and guitar, and Todd and Rob. Like it was like me and Eric weren't even there. So yeah, there's been times where we can change members, but at that particular time, nobody was wanting to do vocals. So I tried to do vocals, and I fell off the stage, passed out, fell on a drum set off the side of the stage, got kind of woken up with the smelling salts. And that's when I was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have played that show.
A few bands later, Carrie Nation took the stage. Shortly after that, Judge, a band from New York, took the stage. Andrew and I left a few songs into their set. As I was leaving, Nelson introduced me to Greg Brown, Scott Sundahl, Paul T., and other members of a group known as the Orange County Sloth Crew. Eventually, they would nickname me Mushnik, which was a character I had been in a high school play. On the ride home, I had no idea that those people I had just met would become and would be the gateway to the best friends I would ever have.